Hey Duplin County, we're here this Saturday back at Master Blend Farms to close our pig week. We got some chefs coming in today to cook up some of the local fare, and after that we're going to visit the general store and check out some of the places where you can get your own pork. So now we're in the Master Blend General Store where you can get some candy, drink, and most importantly, pork products. They got bacon, sausage, pork chops. You can buy it by the pound. If it comes from a pig, they got it. Why hogs? Why did you decided to go into this business?
So I think we selected hogs because Dad had been doing it for years. So I knew it would be easy for me to ask him a million questions about it. And then I had a lot of friends that also were raising pigs. So anytime we would get stumped as far as Dad and I in basic conversation, I could talk to one of my buddies at work about it because I mean his family had been doing it for generations as well, you know. Mm-hmm. So it was pretty much a no-brainer just to talk with them and figure it out. And then we could develop the competitive edge later on.
Was there any hiccups getting started though?
Yeah, so the hiccups that we faced, basically you have a young kid that's trying to get into agriculture that has no idea what it takes to be successful in it. So when it came to getting educated on it and then trying to master certain aspects of it, it was basically like trial and error. So with that being the case, trial and error is one of the most effective tools, but it's also one of the most expensive tools when it comes to learning how to do a trade, how to implement an idea into the pork industry.
Okay. So you mentioned your dad. Do you have any other family members that work with you, anything like that?
Yeah, so Master Blend has pretty much been a family-oriented operation. So with that being the case, like I can ask my kids, to hop up a little earlier in the morning to help with deliveries, or I can talk with my baby girl about mixing up a batch of barbecue sauce before we're going to cook some hogs. Because I mean, my daughter, she always, makes the barbecue sauce, which is a cool thing. And then my wife, so she pretty much keeps me level-headed when it comes from doing something just totally outside of the box, you know what I mean? So, and then of course Dad, we always bring everything to him before we make a final decision, especially when it's on something ginormous.
What's different what you're doing here versus, some other place that has, 7,000 hogs in one small little location in their little houses and stuff? How is this different?
So I think what separates Master Blend from everyone else is the first aspect is that we're in what you call a niche market. And so with that, you basically taking a commodity and you put your twist on it. And so ours would be minimizing the impact that we leave on the ecosystem as far as our carbon footprint. So the idea that we implement at Master Blend is pasture rotation. So we'll have animals on one pasture for 45 days. Then we'll let them move them to a whole different area so that can rejuvenate, regenerate, and then you can actually put them back on it, and you're not having to input too much synthetic if any, synthetic herbicides or pesticides to it. So that's what, kind of makes us a little different from everybody else. And, the greatest experience that I think that our customer base has been able to deal with has been that they can now come out on the farm, they can see how we produce, and then they can also come into the store, which is located on the farm. And the other unique characteristic is that we actually have the distribution component that like takes it over the top. So that's kind of what separates us from everybody else. And just establishing a great reputation and a great relationship with the different chefs that we work with in the schools and the local community, I think overall gives us a well-established reputation.
You think people will like appreciate that transparency, being able to be like, okay, it's not like I don't know where this meat's coming from. I see where, exactly how it got from being a baby all the way until it's in that fridge. Do you think people appreciate that?
At least with the chefs that we've been able to work with, they've all expressed their appreciation from knowing from start to finish where the product came from and the care and the effort that was put into raising that animal to reach harvest. So, and then the other aspect of it is the characteristics that separates our products from others in regards of the marbling and the meat texture. So, I think as far as the customers, everybody has been on the local kick a little more. And then the other thing is, being able to find food that is at a competitive price, but then it still has the characteristics of being, certified all natural, so no growth
quality.
Yeah, and the quality.
Gotcha. So you're proud of how far you've come, because I'm assuming your dad's farm was not quite to the same, what you're doing here already.
So I'm very excited in regards of where we've started and where we've come from, and the lives that we were able to reach out and touch in regards of showing individuals how to adapt to sustainable agriculture on a smaller scale. My dad, when he was doing it, he had about 8 production sows, which were the pigs that were producing the pigs. Mm-hmm. Whereas with us, at this time, we have about between 81 and 100. So, it's ramping up a little bit, but it's the same model. It's just bringing new ideas to it. And I think that my mom and my kids and my wife, they all have something that they're proud of. And ultimately, the business was supposed to, for at least myself, build and sustain a legacy that, my great grandkids will be talking about 100 and 150 years from now. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what I did it for, and then just knowing that the family's involved and everybody's super stoked, like that feels real good.